All right guys, so this is officially the start of the Brownie build. I'm at my parents' house right now, and as you can see, we've got parts everywhere. Autometal Direct just dropped off a full pallet. I've got more parts coming in every day, and this truck right here, this is what it's all for. This is my 1978 F150 4x4. I'm calling it Brownie, and this build is gonna be a little bit different from what I normally do, because in less than a month, I'm driving this truck across the entire country. This year, America turned 250 years old and Route 66 turns 100. So from the June 7th to June 19th, we're driving the entire Route 66 from Miami to Joliet, Illinois, then all the way to Santa Monica, California. And we're calling it the Mother Road Run. This is a once-in-a-lifetime Route 66 adventure with like-minded people, and we're doing this whole thing. So first I got to give a huge thank you to Peak. They're the title sponsor of the Mother Road Run. Autometal Direct is the presenting sponsor. Obviously you guys could see why. And we got a ton of great partners involved. Amsoil, KC Highlights, Retro Sound, Vintage Air, Beltec, and a ton more. So now here's the thing with this truck. All my other builds, Clyde, Snickers, Gold Dust, those are big projects. This one isn't supposed to be that. This is meant to be a real truck. So let me show you exactly what I mean by that. Right now we have a 1978 Ford F150 4x4. This thing is mostly all original. The only thing I've so far done is we put the Baja Legend EXPs on it. Under the hood is a stock 351 modified with a C6. It's got a 4-barrel Holley. Everything is up to snuff. Factory AC truck. And I've been daily driving this for the last few weeks, and honestly, it's a really great rig. I got it from a subscriber. His name is Doug. It was originally his father-in-law's truck, and he bought it brand new in 1978. His wife remembers when her father brought it home, and there was a lot of really cool things that kind of come along with this. As far as story goes, she said that it used to have a really cool bench seat, and it was plaid. You could see it's got the custom headliner with the pleating, so they redid the bench seat. It's still pretty cool. It's got this pattern going, but it's not the plaid stuff. It's got carpet everywhere, so if you see door panels, carpet, top of the headliner, back, everything. Truck itself's got 65,555 miles. That's fun. AC works, everything works. It's got this head unit that works, but it's not period correct. Only thing actually wrong with the interior is this original door panel cracked right here. Somebody must have pulled on it a little bit too hard, but that's really it. Now, you know, 65,000 mile truck. This one came out of Indiana. It's mostly original paint. It's pretty good, but it does start having some rust. We got some bubbling right over here, and then this corner is taken out. So that was one of the reasons why we wanted to work with Autometal Direct. So we got this piece right here, which is going to be, we could trim out and take what we need. And then this is the bottom corner piece right over here. We also got window tracks, just a lot of stuff, everything that we basically needed. It's really nice when you can go to like a company like Autometal Direct's website, type in the year, make, model, and you can figure out everything that you need for the truck. This is my favorite brown, medium dark brown, and I think it looks beautiful. So I've got about a month to get this truck ready to cross the country. It's actually been a few days, and a lot of parts have shown up. I even had some parts in the car outside I got to still bring in. But basically, figured I should do a little intro back here. Autometal Direct, Vintagear, Painless, Skyjacker, Borgeson, Dapper, Amsoil, Mickey Thompson, Ace. We got all kinds of stuff here. So what I'm gonna do right now is get everything unpackaged, do a quick time lapse, and then pick you guys back up. All right, guys. So I didn't unpack all of the stuff, but we got a lot of it laid out. Then I'm gonna explain what it all is. So we're doing a full Vintagear Sure Fit kit, Amsoil to cover all the goodies. We got a lot of AMD restoration parts, engineered vintage front bumper, awesome visor from Ace, painless. We got KC lights, and then all the Skyjacker goodies, some rust repair stuff. So right now, what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be loading down the bed. First things we're doing is lift, suspension stuff. Basically, we're going to be building the rear bumper, the roll bar, and we're going down to Trail Hunters. So I'm going to load it all into the bed and then go there. Got the bed all loaded down with everything I feel like I need to bring to Trail Hunters. So let's go make some way. Alright guys, we just made it over here to Trail Hunters finally. Excited to see what all we're going to get done today. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be doing the lift first, then all the oil, but we'll figure it out. Now that we had all the lights, I already put it all back in. I also unpacked my light bar so you guys could see. This is a Solos MFG light bar before it's all welded together. So right here we take apart this KC chase lights. Those go here. Then we have side lights, top lights, and you'll see how that gets put together. So we are over here, actually gonna start. So been talking. Today's day one. Danny, you ready?
We're ready, boys.
So what's the game plan?
All right, so we're gonna get all the Skyjacker stuff on. We're gonna get the bumper and fluids. That's day one. And then we have a ton of KC stuff, and one of Solomon's custom
yeah, so I wanted to explain the
light bar thing that we're gonna make for him. So well, he made it, but we gotta weld
I did this on the Midas truck, and it's one of the things that I love to do. So I made a custom stainless light bar. We're actually gonna make a roll bar too. So you take this chase light over here, we take these lights out from in them, those go down here. So then we have the full chase light set up. These things are all gonna get welded together. Then on top, we're gonna have the 6 slim lights, which are right there. And on the side, we have 2 of the C2 series, so that way we can light up for like party time. I had to get some socks for the haters and tons of rock lights, so that way we could see what we're doing. So that should be fun.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You're pretty good at welding, so then we get to show off all those fancy stainless skills.
Yeah, and we got custom bumper and the roll bar for this.
Yeah, so I want to do a custom rear bumper tubular.
So we're gonna get tube work, we're gonna get some plate work. And I think that's it, right? And you're waiting on something else to come in.
Drop brackets.
Fuel cell.
Yeah, the Solus Innovations 60-gallon fuel tank. That should just bolt in, but I do think I might want to make a skid plate.
Yeah.
So depending on, you know,
yeah, we gotta see if we could connect it to the, because you said it might be super tight.
Yeah.
So we need to see if we have room to make a skid plate.
Right.
But I mean, if we got space, then yeah, of course, shouldn't be an issue.
So I guess let's get into it. everybody. So we're back. It's day 2. Yesterday I didn't make a little outro thing because we ended up getting tired. Time flew by, but we kicked ass. So I want to give them a little everything that happened.
Yeah. Later, bro. Dale. So yeah, yesterday we pretty much just started tackling stuff on the build. Basically, we picked this thing up on the lift. We saw that it had a couple oil leaks. Solomon told us basically treat it like if it was our truck and we're gonna drive it to California. So, which that's exactly what's happening. Probably more. It's getting double. He's going up to Chicago, going across to California, and then back to Miami. So we're gonna be going to
7,000 plus miles.
It's like going to California twice.
It's literally.
Yeah. So we need to make sure the thing makes it there and back in one piece. And then he might get a little hiccups here and there just because of the age of the truck, but we're gonna try to give him his best running start. So we noticed the transfer case, that thing was full of oil leaks. So Nathan already got most of the stuff taken apart. We need to drop the truck so we could take off one of the mounting bolts and take the transfer case off. Nathan also dropped the tranny pan. We changed the filter, drained the oil, which the oil was actually pretty good. We have new oil from Amsoil, so we're gonna get that in after we get it on the floor. And then the oil pan was leaking from the gasket, so we went ahead and pulled that off, which we're glad we did because it had a ton of sludge in there. Solomon was actually complaining about having low oil pressure. This was all super gunked up, so it was actually giving a lot of resistance in there, not giving proper oiling to the whole motor. So
and now we're definitely gonna have super oil pressure because the Z-Rod pumps
yeah,
that
so between
stuff.
Cleaning all that up, getting all the gunk out, new oil gasket, oil pan gasket, the Z-Rod oil, this thing should be running as best as it possibly can for the age of it, which actually the motor is actually super good. Solomon put a story on Instagram or a post, and you can see the cross hatching on the motor, on the cylinders, and it actually looks like really, really good. So we were super impressed with that. That was really good to see. Besides that, we're also gonna be doing all the brake fluids, so we gotta do a flush on that. We're gonna do all the steering when we change the gearbox. And I think that's it for fluids and like maintenance stuff.
Yep. And then
Brett yesterday went ahead and got the rear lift done. So we got the new leaf springs on, the new shocks.
rear brake line.
Brake lines are done.
Still need to
Everything
add
is clear.
stickers.
Yeah, we need hella stickers on this. I know that we do need to cut the exhaust at some point to fit the massive fuel cell that Solomon wants to run. It's like a 600-gallon tank.
Yep.
So we need
612.
We need to fit that. I think we're taking off the steps.
Definitely.
We got most of the front suspension on. Brett was able to take care of a lot of that yesterday, so shock springs are on. We're waiting on a drop bracket for the radius arm. We're waiting on sway bar links. We're gonna be running the same steering with the new stabilizers. We have a new track bar that actually came from Snickers. Bumper's on, but we need to finalize it. And then I think that's it for like most of like the mechanical easy stuff. And then we're also gonna be doing a ton of fabrication work, which we already started doing that. Back there, we started putting together Solomon has a company, if you guys don't know, called Solos MFG. And it's basically a lot of cool vintage parts with a modern twist on it.
So this is something that I've always had in my head. So I love light bars, but you can't really get light bars anymore. Nobody makes cool ones. And I didn't just want a light bar. So we started with Snickers, and Snickers has a roof mounted light bar, which is different than this one, but it has the 5 on top, plus these are the KC Chase lights. They will go in there. So what's really nice is this version is similar to the version that I did on the Midas, except it's more narrow. So over here on the side, we have a 2-inch light. So that way on the side of the truck, out back we have the Chase lights, and then up top, we're gonna have the 5 slim lights. And it should be pretty cool. And then Danny over here laid down some pretty sick welds.
Yeah, it looks pretty sick. It welded actually really good. So this is one of our fabrication projects that we have to do for the truck. And then we are also doing a roll bar to mount this thing, which that will hopefully getting to it soon, because we gotta wait to get the truck down so we can get measurements and obviously figure out our game plan there. And then if time allows, we're gonna try to do a rear bumper, but we're not holding our breath on that, mainly because the truck needs to get to wiring, and so I think a couple other places he mentioned.
Wiring, paint, yeah.
Yeah, so it needs a lot. We're just getting most of the stuff done mechanically and just get it mostly there, and then after this trip, we could take care of all the little details. The bumper on it's not bad. I think it actually matches the front bumper pretty good. It's just missing a tow hitch, which isn't a big deal for the mother run road.
Yeah, I'm not towing anything.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Yeah, you should be fine.
So yeah, I guess we're gonna cut back to a bunch of B-roll and time lapsing and see you guys there. No, so I've been looking everywhere for this oil pan gasket today, and O'Reilly's had it.
All right, guys. So obviously, you guys have probably noticed a different camera. Solomon had to take off to Grand National, so we are taking over this video. We're pretty much at the point that we need to be putting in fluids. So we have all the Amsoil stuff here. We got Super Shift for the transmission, which that thing should be taking about 4 to 6, depending on how much fluid it had in it previously. But that is what it usually is with a pan and filter change. We got Z-Rod for the motor oil. We got brake fluid, and we got power steering fluid. So obviously we're gonna need a lot of this. We changed out the steering box to the redhead gearbox, change out the steering shaft and a new bushing down there. And then we're gonna do a brake flush. We're gonna get rid of all the old fluid because who knows how long it's been in there for. And obviously we got this all paired up with an Amsoil filter. And then we just went with a parts store tranny filter. We'll start getting those things in. Nathan already has everything drained and he's got a funnel ready to go. And we'll just get a time lapse for you guys. Tranny fluids in. We're gonna jump into the steering and brakes, which the brakes is gonna take a little bit more work because we have to drain it all out or pump it all out, put it back in, and do all that caliper stuff. But this stuff is pretty good though. So it's meant for classic and high performance motors. High zinc, fights corrosion during storage, which is a big thing with oil because when a lot of these cars get parked and sit for a long time, the oil's not really sitting on top of the rockers and the higher parts, and what it does is it causes an issue with rust sitting over time. So definitely check this out. If you guys have a like hot rod or truck or slammed car that's sitting for a long time, this will actually help you out big time. And then the Super Shift, that's always going to be good for what we're doing. Not that it's kind of designed for high horsepower and high torque applications, and obviously Brownie doesn't have that, but if it's good for that, it's going to help withstand all the temperatures and the long drives and all that good stuff that Solomon's going to be putting this truck through during the mother road run. and it's got a lot of good stuff. It's gonna help with a lot of the heat and just dissipate all that a lot better. And then the same thing with the steering and the brakes. It's all like, yes, they're high performance stuff, and no, this isn't a high performance vehicle, but because of how long of a drive he's doing it at a time, you don't want those fluids to break down, and this is going to help a ton with that. And just it just gives him his best foot forward to get him to Chicago, down to California, and back to Miami with minimal issues, and hopefully give us less work to do after this trip. But we'll see. Let's get some steering fluid in and let's take care of the brakes. Brake fluid on the dirt roller around.
Why are you laughing? Because you don't know how to do your job.
You want me a pump? Alright, so I'm inside Brownie now, and we are finishing the flush for the brakes. Nathan is out there holding, basically bleeding the brakes now, and then we're just gonna bleed it and keep pumping until all the air, and then we'll see the transition of old brake fluid and the new brake fluid. It'll look obviously a lot cleaner. I'm pumping.
I cracked it open and it fucking...
It's everywhere.
No.
So basically what we did was we sucked out all the old fluid from the master, put in new fluid, holding, and then as we're bleeding the brakes, the new fluid that's in the master above the old fluid is gonna cycle through the lines, and then eventually it'll just kick out all the old stuff after you bleed all the brakes properly. So that's what we're in the process of now, and then pumping. And then I think the last thing we're missing is the gear oil for the transfer case, which we're waiting on the front seal so we could fill it up again. So that'll probably be here Tuesday. And then I think Monday or Tuesday we'll finish up the roll bar for Solomon. And I think that's it. I think we'll probably finish up the engineering vintage front bumper today. And we're looking really good. We're looking good to meet his goal of getting this out to wiring by Friday. All right, guys, we are back. Nathan got the drop brackets on. We're still waiting on some parts, waiting on sway bar links, waiting on, I think that's it actually. That's all we're waiting on the front. So that's good. We got to finish up the steering and the track bar and the stabilizers, which we'll do once we get it on the ground. But basically, it's time to see what this thing looks like with tires on the ground. So we're gonna do that. All right, wheels are on. We're gonna see what this thing looks like. Everything's popping into place. Damn, it's a big difference there. You're gonna need some 35s.
A little bit of the old fill the gap.
Yeah, it looks good though. Not bad. Definitely taller. Alright, so now that it's on the ground, we're going to get the drag link connected, get the track bar connected, stabilizers connected to where they're supposed to, and then we can start figuring out the alignment. And we have to finish the front bumper, and then once we turn it on, we'll top off any fluids that we haven't turned on. But this is looking like a day 4 type thing, because it's about 5 and it's hot. I think we're gonna call it a day already. So see you guys in the next day.
All right, guys, so it's been a few days. I actually went out to Grand Nats. Danny and the boys here got a ton of stuff done. So, as you can see, lift kit is now 100% done. They started putting in the gas tank, but need to wait on a few more parts. They got the roll bar finished, gonna take that to powder coat. But everything that they had to do is now done. So we are going to be taking this to Sean at Automotive Power Solutions, so that way he can start wiring everything. Because I have to be in 17 days from today in Illinois. So let's get this thing loaded up and on the way to Sean. All right, Danny. So
Done.
that's it. We'll be back in like
5-day project. See you again in a week.
yeah.
Get it ready for the trip.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, man.
All right, guys. So as you can see, I'm over here driving this tow truck on the way up to Sebring. It's about a 3-hour drive. We got about 30 minutes left till we get there. And it's beautiful. I've been taking US 27, which this is basically how it looks the entire way. So a lot of people think Florida is like Miami, and Miami is beautiful, but most of Florida is like this. So it's pretty flat and heavily wooded. But we got about 30 minutes till we get to Sean's, and see you guys when we get there. So as you saw by the drone footage, I just got over here to Sean's. I let myself in, and right now we're waiting on him. He's gonna be here any minute. He just finished his regular day job, and I'm excited. Already got this thing mostly unstrapped. My first time driving a tow truck. It went really well, no problems. So it was about 155 miles, and truck did great. Brownie towed great. Now we can talk about, and you guys could see what all was done. Engineered vintage front bumper, skyjacker, 6-inch lift kit, it's got no fuel cell in it right now, but it's right here in the bed. And we got a bunch of other parts all in the bed and in the cab. Vintage air, retro sound, painless, KC highlights, all kinds of stuff. So when Sean gets here, we're gonna pull this thing into the shop and then show you everything we got.
Oh, the tow truck driver.
So now we got to start taking out some of the stuff. So I had this thing pretty loaded down, full of stuff. So let's get this empty and I'll pick you back up. All Alright guys, we are back in Lungerland, and the reason I came here is I wanted to come pick up Gator so I can start daily driving it. So, yeah. Alright guys, it's the next day. We got the tow truck unloaded and we got Gator here. I've actually had this truck for a little bit over a year and I've only kept it at Lungerland, played with it with the kids a lot, had a lot of fun with it, but never brought it down here, never got it into daily use. So now I'm gonna start doing that. This truck is really cool, all original paint, and it's got a lot of history. This is an original truck from Skyjacker way back in 1976. But this is gonna conclude today's video. Look, you can see, got all the cobwebs still on it. And basically, I have about 2 weeks until I'm hitting the road for the Mother Road run. So to reiterate, I'm gonna be driving Brownie, hopefully not Gator, hopefully Brownie, on the entire Route 66, Miami to Chicago, Chicago to Santa Monica. And if you guys want to get more information on that, you can head over to themotherroadrun.com, and it's got the entire guide, the route, all that stuff. So if you guys want to meet up with us, let's say if you're in, you know, Missouri or Kansas or Oklahoma or, you know, New Mexico, whatever it is, and like, subscribe, drop a comment, and we'll see you in the next video.